Hey guys, it's Noelle Gray with Keller Williams Drive, and I am back. I can't make this up. This just in. I got a message from a former student, actually. For those of you who don't know, I used to be an educator. I went from being a teacher, I was a behavior interventionist and assistant principal for almost 18 years. And it was awesome, and I loved it, but now I'm doing this. And so that's why you'll see a lot of these videos. You'll see me educating a lot because of things like this. So I got this message from a former student. Super proud of her. She just got pre-approved, her and her partner. I don't know if they're married or if they're not, but I don't want to use his name because just for privacy. But I'll read directly what is said. Hey, I really need your advice on something because I trust you and how you explain things. We just got pre-approved and started running numbers with our lender, and my significant other is honestly freaking out a bit. He had asked a question to our lender about interest rate and asked if she could do an example. The lender gave an example of a $275,000 house at around 6% interest on a 30-year loan, and it showed that over the life of the loan, it adds up to around $600,000 with interest. Now, her significant other feels like they're getting basically I'm not going to use her word, but basically they're getting taken for granted or taken advantage of. And now he's saying there's no way they're going to buy a $275,000 house because of that. Then she goes on, and she's kind of on the right wavelength. She goes on to explain that, this wouldn't be our forever home, so we wouldn't be staying in it forever, so we won't be finishing out that loan term, so they wouldn't pay the $600,000 with interest. And so and she asked for me to explain it. And so here is kind of what I want to spell out. Yes, when you buy a home, if you use lending, you're going to pay interest. That's why people hype up the interest rates so much. However, if you don't buy a house, you've got to pay rent somewhere. Right now, it's very difficult to get any home, to rent any home for, less than $1,800. So let's do $1,800 a month. Oopsies. I'm calculating as we speak. $1,800 a month, okay? Times 12, because that's, oopsies, I added 12. Come on, Noelle, get it together. Times 12, see, this is how you know this is real. That's $21,600 per year that you're paying in rent. Multiply that by 30, because that's a 30-year loan is what she was talking about. That's $648,000. Sorry, it's hard to read backwards. $648,000 is what you would pay in rent over a 30-year period. Now, that is if rent doesn't go up. And we've seen in the past 5-6 years that rent is going up tremendously. What her significant other is not taking into consideration is the fact that when you pay that $648,000 in rent, you've got nothing to show for it. You have just paid somebody else's mortgage. You have just made somebody else rich because they have the property. They have the asset. They could go and sell it and get the cash out of that. The other thing that they're not taking into consideration is the fact that real estate appreciates. It doesn't matter what the market does. It doesn't matter if it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. That doesn't matter. Over time, real estate appreciates. Go back to, 1970, 1960, 70. People were buying houses for like just a few $1,000s. The most expensive house, in the 80s may have been like, $100,000 or $80,000. You could get a nice house for that. And now the average cost of a home is in the 300,000s. So from 1980 to now, it's more than doubled. in value. You miss out on that when you're paying somebody else's rent and you don't own the property. And that's, I wish I could get that through buyers' heads. We're living in a situation right now where people believe renting is better because it's cheaper. And it's over time, it's not. You are losing tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars by not owning property. And it's in the appreciation that you're losing it. But also, that $600,000 that you're paying total for the house is nothing if you compared to what you're gaining by owning the house. You're either paying over $600,000 to somebody else and have nothing to show for it, or you're gonna suck that up, pay the interest, and have a property to show for it. There are also tricks that you can use to pay down your mortgage faster. That's if you take the entire 30 years to pay down your loan. You could pay off your loan in 18 years simply by just making one additional payment a year. So then that $600,000 cost goes down drastically. And so I just wish, I can't say this, I'm going to say it louder for the people in the back. Owning a property beats renting every day of the week, every market, every decade, every century, every economy, every culture, every state, every city. It doesn't matter. Owning a property beats renting all day, every day. In fact, most millionaires and billionaires will tell you, and Google it, Google this. The way they made their money was by buying real estate. That's what made them rich. You don't get rich by renting. You will never get rich by renting. You have nothing to show for it. In addition to that, while I'm at it, I feel fire in my soul. While I'm at it, the other part of that is they say buy, sell, or invest in real estate. What else do you invest in? You invest in stocks. You invest in, the stock market. You can invest in bonds. You invest because that's where you can put your money and then it will work for you. So you don't have to work harder, but your money grows. You invest in real estate because it's a place where you can put your money, spend your money, and your money will grow on its own. You don't have to add extra hours to your workday. You don't have to get a second job. You don't have to do anything. You put it in that and it grows on its own. So real estate isn't, if you guys could just get past the numbers and understand that this is a long-term gain. It's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. Owning real estate is one of the best and fastest ways to build wealth. It has changed trajectories of entire generations and families because somebody got smart and bought a house. And then they bought another house and rented that house. And why would you want to rent to somebody? Because then you're renting out that property and you're not paying the mortgage. And I've done a video like this before, but I'll do it again. When you purchase a property to rent, the way you determine if it's a good rental is if the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, all of it, you can rent that house out for as much or more than what it costs you to own. The rent, the taxes, the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, all that, maintenance, upkeep. So typically, when people rent, they are charging you all the time. When people rent, they are charging you their exact costs to own that property. So you're basically paying for their property. And you walk away with nothing, and they walk away with everything. And if you have to live somewhere anyway, why wouldn't you put that rent money into a mortgage where you'll actually own a property and have something to show for it? Why would you not? You have to pay that money out anyway. So why would you not? That is what like, to me, the logic is just there. It makes sense to own. And yes, we've gotten to a point where like there's inflation and it's a little bit more difficult to own a home and you've got to bring that down payment. They're trying to bring in these mortgages and different things that are basically rent light. They'll put you in situations that you'll never be able to own a home. And I'm just speaking bluntly. But you've got to look at those numbers and you've got to think, more than just right in front of your face and look long term if you want to actually understand the value and the importance of owning property. That's all I have for you for now. If you have a question, if you even want to ask me any questions, this is a soapbox for me. But if you want to ask me questions, you can text me or call me at 864-360-3887. Or you can shoot me an email at noelle@noellegrayrealtor.com. That's NOEL@NOELGRAYREALTOR.com. Until next time, have a good one.